It's a Godwinson live news alert. We're going to be showing you how it's done, PPP. Because you've lost your spark. You've lost the energy that used to fuel you. I'm going to show you how it's done. Let this be a lesson to you, my friend. Because you have the gall to call me washed. You have the nerve, the front, to call me washed. Want to get into the whole response. The 2 streams that you did, crying out of your anus, we're going to cover all of it. Because I am the rainbow in the dark, Ashton. Whether you like it or not, you've become everything that you hated. Or professed to hate. Or pretended to hate. I don't know anymore. I look back and I go, was I played? Were they all played? Every man that ever supported you, that ever stood on the front lines and fought alongside you in your various campaigns, you've stabbed in the back and claimed that they have stabbed you in the back. We're going to get into all of it. I love this song, by the way. It makes me feel things. Because I am the rainbow in the dark, Ashton. What else is there? You were supposed, when you started grifting, to give back. To actually produce good content. Or else what was the point in grifting? What was the point in grifting if you were just going to sell out all of the principles that you once held and not show that there was a better way of doing it? I thought that was your whole point. We're getting it. Alright. So, we put out a video called The Carolean Age, where we established that there was a new age upon us, where we made clear divisions between what was before and what is now. And I feel that we're all sound in our minds that there is that divide, that we have entered a new age, that things have changed. Now, PPP, instead of allowing Andy to defend himself, instead of perhaps, I don't know, addressing the issue head-on properly, he decides to upload on this channel that's got 2,000 subs called Social Justice PPP. I don't think he's uploaded onto it for about 2-3 years. But this is where he's going to be addressing all of the haters. The criticisms that come his way is on Social Justice PPP. Because we can't have it on the Daka channel, guys, because it has to be for normie fight tier content now. It has to be the purest grift zone possible. We can't have any slurs that aren't censored. And heaven forbid any content that's a bit spicy gets uploaded onto there. So we're on the Kino Cathedral. That's what he's uploaded this stream to be. He calls it Godwinson Washed, Red Dead Nightmares, Latrav waves the white flag. Okay, are you ready? Because I'm ready. Let's get into this. So I'm going to switch the camera. I'm going to attempt to switch the camera. All right, folks, so here he is, PPP, the man of the hour. Now, it's no news to anyone that he's doubled, trebled, quadrupled in size since our partnership. I don't think the Warski lifestyle is the best for him. Is this the face of a winner, by the way? We are no seconds in. Is this the face of a winner? Is that the face of a winner? Of a man who reached the top of the mountain? Let's go. Let's go. I am pressing this spacebar. Let's go.
We're back, baby. Oh, we're back. Welcome to the Kino Cathedral there, folks.
Look at the enthusiasm has died in his eyes. Where's the energy? Where's the soul?
Back in the day, folks. Be excited. Jesus, he knows me now, folks. This is the Kino Cathedral. Pay no attention to the casino backdrop that I'm too lazy to take the fuck down.
The casino backdrop, by the way, which is a towel. It's a towel. A towel with a roulette wheel on it and some playing cards. That's where your money's gone, by the way. All of those profits reinvested into the show has gone on a towel. A towel. A creased, unironed towel that he's decided to put on the wall behind him. Now, I'm all for the idea that if you're going to grift, you're going to reinvest it back in the show and probably make a better product with the proceeds of the money. But it's a towel that you haven't even bothered. You haven't even cared to iron out the creases of before putting it behind you and pretentiously calling it a backdrop. Is that really money well spent?
Folks, pay no attention to that there, folks. Pay no attention.
By the way, I think we should pay note. Sorry, I don't mean to pause every 5 seconds, but I feel it's important to do so. We're just waiting for him to tip his head so we can read the message on. Okay, let's go back slightly. Okay.
Screaming into his phone about shit that he really cares about, that he's passionate about.
I mean, screaming into his phone about shit he really cares about, he does so in hushed tones. This is how you do it, Ashton. Screaming into his phone about shit he really cares about. That's the Kino Dogma 2007 energy that you need to channel, Ashton. But we're just waiting for you to tip your hat so we can read the message.
Really serious business there.
I don't think we're going to find a frame where we can clearly read the writing, because he's swaying back and forth and already sweating quite profusely. But it says on the hat, "Be patient, I have autism." It's irony, guys. Just the same way he rakes over Beardson and Fuentes and all of the other America Firsters for being irony pros, and they're using irony to mask their hypocrisy. He's doing the same thing here. You know, and whilst that used to be cute back in the day, when there was a point being made, it's long worn off. It's long since worn off. He's just shuffling his shoulders. That's the level of mobility Hollywood PPP now has.
Baby, it's good to be back.
Does it look good to be back? Does this look like a guy who looks like it's good to be back?
You're telling me everything's gonna be alright. Woo! Alrighty there, folks. I know a lot of you are really excited to hear my take. You gotta see me respond there. There's something that I just need to address. It's deep, the fire within my belly, it yearns. The light, it burns always for me to address this. That's right, folks. This game, Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare, is a broken piece of shit.
Isn't this desperate? Isn't this washed, Ashton? Do you look like you're having a good time? Do you really look like you're having a good time? This took you a 4-hour discussion with Andy Warski of how best to respond to my latest video. And this is what you came up with? This is really what you came up with? We'll let this go and then we'll jump to the points where he addresses myself. Because I don't want to waste your time any more than it's already been wasted. I just feel like we need to see this to understand how far he's fallen.
It's a broken piece of shit, folks.
Is he describing the game or Andy Warski?
It is a broken fucking mess. Now, I know a lot of you motherfuckers say, no, this is the greatest fucking game. The greatest DLC that's ever been made.
Just want to show you what his chat's saying.
The greatest DLC for any video game that we've ever seen. IGN told us so. But I'm here to tell you, motherfuckers.
All right, let's skip the desperation. I just wanted you to see that. To have the full context of how far he's fallen. And how he can't properly put together a reply video anymore. I mean, I never thought I'd see the day, but that day has come. Caroline age, that's what we're living in. So, I think it's 9 minutes in. 9 whole minutes in that he finally addresses the issues at hand. 9 minutes of coping, by the way.
Crashing because the fucking saving doesn't work.
What an amazing review, by the way. The saving doesn't work.
Fucking markers are disappearing off the map. It's broken as shit.
Well, learn to play the game.
I saw somebody in chat say, oh, it was the last update that broke this game. And I was looking online, and that's what people say is the last update broke this game. People were trying to say that
this is what he's spending the money on. Towels?
But then other people were like, nah,
and video games from... I mean, how old is this game now?
Know, but like 10 years
15?
Ago,
16 years old?
And it was still
Can't he buy current-gen consoles with all that bank he's supposedly making with Warski?
A spooky season, a fun season.
Oh, I think this season's gonna get very spooky, Ashton. You wait and see. You wait and see. You don't need to be playing Undead Nightmare to feel the spooktacular season that's incoming, my friend.
It's fucking wasted. It's wasted, folks. Just like Godwinson.
Here we go.
Holy fuck.
Here we go.
Holy fuck, folks. What a washed up bum. Might have been good 10 years ago. Might have been good 4 years ago. Might have been good 3 years ago. But the latest update, I don't know what happened. The latest update crashed his fucking brain. The latest update where I chose Andy Warski as my business partner over Godwinson completely melted his fucking brain.
Now, I just want to ask you, folks. He's just said the sentence, I chose Andy Warski as my business partner over Godwinson, and apparently my brain is melted. Does this look like a man who has sound financial business sense? Does this look like a man who, when presented with serious options, takes long-term looks at things? Does this really look like a man whose brain isn't melted? The nerve, the front, the gall to say that my brain is melted when he himself has been eating himself into oblivion upon the commencement of this Andy Warski partnership, where he's been buying towels to frame behind him to make it look like he's in a casino. This is the face of a real winner, guys, and I wanted you to all witness just how far he's fallen.
I don't understand. I'm so talented. I'm so charismatic. I'm so rich. How can he choose a retarded phoenix over me? And the tears just keep flowing and flowing and flowing.
I mean, we can see in PPP's fake laughter that he is the one crying. There are literal tears streaming down his face because he can't hide the shame that exists within him. He can't hide that he tied his wagon to Andy Warski. And no amount of fake laughter is going to stop the tears from falling, my friend. Is this really a winner? Is this really a winner? I don't know. I just feel like PPP was happier, more jovial, a lot better when he was talking about subjects that genuinely entertained him, when he had a point, a crusade, and a mission to go on. I feel like a mission against Ralph and Nick Fuentes, endlessly, ad infinitum, for the next every single weekday for 20, 30, 50 years? Is that really how you're going to keep going? You're not going to vary it up at all?
Months later, Trelane, imagine not taking the bag over your best friend. Imagine.
Trelane, by the way, is Squire, one of the writers of the Kino Casino, when it was somewhat
what was that
good.
Video? What was that? Trelane, the only one that's salty here is you. You're here, seething, salty.
He says as he seethes in a salty way over Trelane's Squire's appearance in the chat. Because he knows he's going to be called out on his lies by the writers who were there at the time.
I cash the checks every fucking week, and they keep coming. Viewership is still good. Donations are still good.
Let's just clarify. Viewership, is it still good? There was a time when they were pulling in thousands and thousands and thousands of live viewers. At this point, it's sub 1,000. Sub 1,000 live viewers. They haven't gained any momentum in their subscribers, even post-notoriety of the fight that they had. Is life really that good? Is life really, really that good that you're going to keep doing the anal vape, keep Thulu Kyla LARP, tethering yourself even further inside Andy Warski's anus until there's nothing left of you at all, apart from this.
You can fuck off, you. But listen, folks, what was his big complaints in this video? It's barely even worth addressing.
It's barely even worth addressing, but obviously he does 2 streams on it because it's barely even worth addressing. And there's 2 streams where you will see the points that have harpooned him, that have gone straight to his heart, and the points that I knew would resonate. Because primarily that was a video not aimed at the riffraff. It was aimed at you. It was aimed at you, my friend. It was to get you to try and shake yourself out of the anger, out of this resentful state you found yourself in. Try and stop you from becoming a parasitic growth on the already parasitic growth that is Andy Warski. Try and wake you up. You asked why I came back? That's the reason why. And if you want to continue shoveling your own grave, I'm happy to take that shovel from you and start shoveling the dirt on myself. I don't want you to struggle there, buddy, or get cold again.
It's barely even worth addressing.
It's barely even worth addressing, but he goes on for an hour.
The videos are repetitive.
They are.
We only talk about Ethan Ralph and Nick Fuentes.
You do.
Who does that remind you of?
PPP and Andy Warski.
Yeah, Godwinson. You know, what have been the last 3 years of videos that you made, Adam?
The last 3 years of videos that I've made, I can count on one hand. And there was a plurality. There was a variance to the topics discussed. You can look back on the canon of work and find that content was made when it was interesting, when events had occurred that warranted content to be made. That's the reality. That's the difference. That's the line in the sand. We are not going to be pretending that I've made videos. I have done 4-hour-long streams continuously, week on week, based around Ethan Ralph looking at a computer screen. Not only those shows, but that interrupted every minute second in order to pause it, listen to BGM, and you going, let's go, I've got 6 Pringles in my mouth. And you occasionally beg that you need their money. Only your money can save us. Let's go.
Ethan Ralph and Nick Fuentes. The pot is calling the kettle black. Adam, the only difference is that I do it every week. Something that you were incapable of.
Well, that's a big difference. And it's more than every week. It's twice a week, 3 times a week. It's never ending. And it's month on month, year on year.
That's why you were not hired on to replace Andy. Because
you were in no position, by the way. Let's just clarify. He was in no position to hire and fire. Because when he tried to do his palace coup, he wasn't able to affect it. Because it's actually Andy's show and not his.
Video. The moons all have to be aligned. Lord Sugar has to have fucking powdered his ass. And everybody has to be washing his fucking balls all on command in order for him to put a fucking video together. That's the genuine fucking truth, okay? His videos for years have just been Ralph and Fuentes. The odd one, Jim Sterling, okay? He talks about the Keno Casino as the monthly Chantal. There's a big difference between those two things.
Yeah, there's a big difference. Even Toad drew the line at a month. Even Toad said enough is enough after 1 month. And let's be real about Toad McJudas. He did 2 monthly Chantels and saw that his dignity, saw that it was beneath even his dignity. So even he stopped. Even he realised, and that was after a monthly show. You've been tarring the names of Ethan Ralph and Nick Fuentes consistently over any old dumb shit that doesn't warrant 4-hour streams every night for the past year? How long's it been? Good 9, 10 months? Of just shit. Of shit. of nothing consistently good, of nothing valuable. When they really look at their contribution, it was probably a week or 2 weeks of good shows. The rest has been soulless grifting where they've told you as such. Them leaping from scam donation platform to scam donation platform and consistently selling out their audience at every turn.
Do you know what? Ethan Ralph and Nick Fuentes can fight back, and they do fight back. Okay?
And you really do address them when they fight back, don't you? You don't just not upload when they do fight back. When they're laughing at the fight, when they're laughing at your weight, you don't address them.
You know, screaming match to fucking Line in the Sand where she fucking buries Toad in a promo. No, that's not going to happen. Is Chantal going to try and fucking host a political conference? No. It was a fucking big reach from Godwinson to try and consider the Keno Casino the same thing as the monthly Chantal.
No, it's not the same thing as the monthly Chantal. If anything, the monthly Chantal is less desperate, is less money grubbing. And Toad knew when to stop. Toad knew when to vary up the topics, to diversify his content, to go back to the writer's room. This guy doesn't know when to admit defeat. And that's going to be a big part of his downfall. I don't want to say he's the next Ethan Ralph, because I think he's going to fall even further.
Chantal. The reason the monthly Chantal is still shit and always will be shit is because it was picking on the lowest person, and it's the person who can't fight back. A person who's just legitimately, completely mentally ill, fat as fuck, just doesn't, they're fucked. That's why it was shameful and fucking shameless, and he's putting Raid Shadow Edge Legends sponsorships on it, shit like that.
At this point, are the Raid Shadow Legends sponsorships even that big of a grift when this guy pauses his show every 3 minutes in order to beg people to donate so that Andy's dad, Medical Massacres for 50, Woofy Games at Naira for 20, says, is it really that bad now, in retrospect, when Toad embeds a 9-minute Raid Shadow Legends advert? When this guy is grifting every 3 minutes of a 5, 6, 10-hour stream twice a week. That's not content. Him begging for donos isn't content. At least Toad allowed you to skip it. You knew there was going to be a 9-minute Raid Shadow Legends advert in a Chris Hansen documentary, but he told you where to go. And there was no danger of, once you skipped it, it reoccurring again, as there is in your show, continuously, on a loop. The majority of the timestamps, when you read the timestamps, are donations, or begging for donations.
So far as I know, the only thing I do is take fucking super chats, okay, to pay my fucking bill.
So far as he knows, I don't want to keep pausing it. I just feel like every word needs appropriate dissection. As far as he knows, only he takes super chats. Like, he wasn't using Power Chat then. He didn't go to donation alerts then, and he didn't try and set up a donation system with Culture War Criminal. There was a complete scam and no one used, and even they were like, oh fuck, this is a big ass scam. This is all he does, right? All he does is just take super chats. This is a big lie. It's a big lie. We've also forgotten about the comfy TV that they tried to leapfrog onto, that failed, that died in the cradle. All he's done, guys, is take super chats. Trust me, I'm a preacher.
Bills. Godwinson wants to talk about how I'm a grifter, this, that, the other. Everybody's a fucking grifter.
Not everybody's a grifter, just yourself.
Back in July. He took the fucking blood money from me. Those are just the basic fucking facts. And when you look at Godwinson's real life, and when you want to talk about who's grifting...
I just want to jump in here, because I feel this is incredibly worthwhile to point out. He will constantly and consistently, the moment he dangles the carrot of my docs, he will say, oh, but I'm going to keep it professional. I'm not going to go personal, although I could say a lot more. Well, at this point, Ashton, why do you just not keep going with the lob? You're not the Godfather. You're far from it. You're not going to scare me by dangling my docs in front of a viewership that genuinely does despise you, that sees you as Warski's parasite. Imagine. The dangling of the docs, it's heartwarming in a way because it echoes the behaviour of many people that myself and PPP used to crusade against. We used to despise that behaviour, and I guarantee you we did hundreds of hours of content based around these pieces of shit, when called out on their grifting, would dox their supporters, would dox their friends, would dangle the doxes of their past associates in order to silence them. I want you to keep this in mind.
What and who? Adam, I'm not the one lying to children with cancer and photoshopping smiles on their faces. That's all I'll fucking say. That's all
I'll say a bit more. I'll say a bit more, so he can't continually keep dangling this around in an attempt to shut me up. I used to work for an MP. I was his comms officer, and occasionally, on Photoshop, I would have to make things look brighter than they were. It was actually a pretty sweet gig, and we both heartily used to laugh at these little scenarios that I found myself in. That's the reality of the situation.
About somebody who only cares about a fucking dollar? You want to talk about somebody who only cares about their status? Who only cares about this or that? That's you, Adam, not me. You fucking bum.
I'd agree with that. I would agree with that. I see the idea that you have to go out and work as a benefit and as a good in society. I don't see this sitting in front of a towel, pretending that you're a big shot, pretending you're Tony Soprano, as in any way constructive to the well-being of not just society or humanity or the world, but of yourself. I genuinely don't see that this is the best way to live. And with every word you utter, you prove my point, Ashton.
Fucking massage your master some more? Go fucking tickle his taint with your tongue as you talk about how he'll never do anything for anybody, but you fucking Photoshop smiles on cancer children for money. You fucking live that life, brother. You live that life. He talks about Andy getting fucking KO'd, this, that, the other. Andy Warski at least had the fucking balls to fucking show up to my show every fucking week.
Can you believe this? So he's gonna play complete shameless defense. Even Geek Thulu would have drawn the line here. Even Kyler would have drawn the line here at saying shit like this. He's going to draw complete defense for Andy Warski when Warski has done literally nothing to reciprocate this man's love. He's going to say that Warski used to shows up on time every week for a show. Well, how many times do we all know that they've cancelled a show? How many times do we know that when Warski used to go on holiday to see catfish that wouldn't fuck him? How many times did we just wait there without there being a show? It's a complete lie.
And you know what? And show up to that fucking fight. Godwinson doesn't have the balls to accomplish shit in his fucking life. He's always scared of failure, and he's always scared of success.
So can we just clarify, what has he accomplished?
That's why
what has he accomplished?
Because I know for a fact, you know, when he talks about the shows are
bad... His big accomplishment is a show with Andy Warski. And being the anal vein when Warski was pilloried by Salt Pappy in London.
You still have to be consistent and put together a fucking show, Adam.
So, yeah, I hope you just heard that, because these guys haven't been uploading for the past month. They've only recently just started uploading, and it's sporadic and it's shit, and they haven't really put together the shows that they are sporadically doing in an attempt to recover their rapidly declining audience and viewership. Just bear that in mind.
Which is something that you had no interest in doing. I knew you had no interest in doing, and it was fucking sad, bro. Andy showed up to that fight, he got his fucking ass kicked, and you know what? You're welcome. I gave the Warski haters exactly what they wanted.
What? This is ego. This is a massive cope. Let's call it for what it is. This guy had jack shit to do with Warski being knocked out by Salt Pappy. This guy had absolutely jack shit to do with that. He's going to pretend to save his own face that he set it up, that he's the puppet master, that he's in the middle of the spider's web. The reality is he can't control Warski. He can't keep him on a leash. This guy is on Warski's leash. This guy is Warski's bitch. This guy is Warski's milk-fed gimp. That's the reality of the situation.
Which was to see Warski get fucked up and beaten fucking senseless. So you're welcome. The fight wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for me.
The fight wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for me. Does this look like the face of a man who believes his own lies?
The fight wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for me, Adam. I gave anybody who hates Warski exactly what they fucking wanted, and so did Andy.
But if that's true, and you really gave us what we wanted, how come Warski's jaw isn't completely broken? We never have to hear from him again. That's what I wanted. The vast majority wanted Warski's head on a silver platter. The vast majority wanted Warski to die in that ring. That's the reality of the situation. By the way, this is your face on Andy Warski's farts. This is what it does to you. It's a real damaging drug.
And you know what? Andy at least, had the fucking courage to go out there and get humiliated for everybody's entertainment.
Andy had the courage.
Godwinson can't even fucking maintain a YouTube channel for longer than a fucking day. Because he's scared that he's going to get a Kiwi Farms thread.
I've already got one.
He's scared that it's going to fuck up his reputation with his family.
It's already broken.
He's scared that Vordrag, he's scared.
Vordrag?
He's scared that.
Isn't Vordrag... When was it? Let's just clarify this. When was the last time that Vordrag popped up? I'm pretty sure it was during the new Project 2 scandal. And no one was afraid of Vordrag. We thought he was just insane. Which he is. But... I don't know, does he really think? Does he really think that using the Leo Pirate talking point, recycling it, and trying to apply it to me is going to hurt? Is going to wound deep? Because that's just retarded, bro.
Little bitch. The fact is he was scared to fucking fly out to my place in Canada. He kept going back and forth. Am I going to fly out? Am I not? Am I going to fly out? Am I not? Waffling like a bitch. And I'm supposed to
I don't even know what he's on about.
In this man's hands? Do you understand that God...
His livelihood in this man's hands. This is a guy who has placed his livelihood in Andy Warski's hands. I want you all to press 1 if you thought that was a sensible idea. If you thought that placing your financial livelihood in Andy Warski's hands was a sensible idea. Press 1. Press 2 if you genuinely thought that was batshit crazy. Batshit crazy. No one, nobody looked at Kyla's position, looked at Anal Vape's position, looked at Geek Thulu's position and thought, I want to be that guy. I want to be Andy Warski's biatch. No one in the world thought that, except you. And this is the face of a winner. A king.
Godwinson, folks. Oh my fucking God. Oh, do you understand what Godwinson would have done if I had actually been so stupid as to fire Andy and completely fuck up my entire show?
I'd have shown you the light.
Godwinson would have come in, maybe done 1 or 2 shows, been completely unreliable, and what he probably would have done is just quit and been like, I trolled him.
Well, the reality is that had the shows not have been good and had there been no content there to peruse over, then I would have said, okay, let's not do a show this week. Let's do a show when there's actually content. That's the reality of the situation. I wouldn't have kept grifting in the gutter for pennies when I wasn't 100% confident that the content was good. That's the reality of it. This guy knows how I work. He worked alongside me for 4 years. He knew that shit wasn't going to wash. Like 40 minutes hyping up Ethan Ralph looking at a computer screen and then talking about it for the whole show for 6 hours. He knew that that wasn't going to wash, and he knew that I wouldn't allow him to every 3 minutes beg for money and interrupt the flow of the conversation and the content being presented. That was the real reason why. But it's not his show anyway to fire people from. He's in no position to replace whoever he wants as the co-host. Because it's Warski's show. It's Andy Warski's show. It always has been. And this guy is his V. Is his gator. Heaven forbid. The hundreds of hours we used to laugh at Shannon Gaines, and this guy's fallen even further.
I trolled him, and I quit the show, and then I wouldn't have fucking had a show. There wouldn't have been a fucking show. So, it is what it is.
It is what it is. By the way, every time a point is made and he can't fully address it without losing face, he just goes, it is what it is. You can play the drinking game alongside me if you wish.
Then Godwinson in his video just completely lies. He says that we deleted all our videos to save face to a normie audience.
That's true. That's 100% true.
That's why the videos went down.
That's true.
Let's have a look here at the actual DACA fucking page. Let's have a look. We can see here, well, there's a strike that comes in, 2 of them, on the 27th of August, the day of the fight. 1 appeal was approved, 1 was rejected.
So he has 1 strike that he appealed and it was rejected. So that's 1 strike on 1 video, guys. Let's listen to his lies. That 1 strike that was not approved, that didn't mean that he had to delete the hundreds of videos that were on that channel. He did so because there was a large audience now wanting to see who Andy Warski was, the man who just got KO'd in the ring after 27 seconds. And he didn't want his true self to be shown because he's a normie fight promoter now. He's been mixing with Sam Hyde, except not really, except he's just been watching Sam Hyde train in the corner of a mirror, like the fucking Candyman or something. That's the reality of PPP.
It's just a clear lie from Godwinson. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Is it really it is what it is? If it was such a lie, how come you can't say more than it is what it is, PPP?
Desperate and he's sad because he has fucking nothing. He has fucking nothing. And people who try to say, I'm hiding the videos. They're up on Odyssey. They've always been up on Odyssey. I just didn't want to fucking lose the channel. Why? Because I'm making money. The show is a fucking grift and it's always been a fucking grift.
Did you hear that, guys? The show is a grift and it's always been a fucking grift. You know? Even Ethan Ralph would say that he attempts to put some effort into his show, that he attempts to put some creative energy into his show. He thinks about his show. Even he wouldn't call his show a grift. It might be a grift, but he wouldn't so blatantly describe it as such. Nick Fuentes, he wouldn't describe his show as a grift and having always been a grift. He would first and foremost say, yeah, he probably thinks about the news that day and talks about it. Even the 2 guys that they so passionately, vehemently go against every night, even those are, I don't know, more creative. Aren't as shameless as to blatantly say that their shows are a grift and have always been a grift, so give me money so I can buy towels with playing cards on them and, I don't know, reach £600, £800 by the end of the year.
I've never lied about that. I've never said I'm not doing it for money. So to me, it's just kind of fucking sad. And that was the reality of all that he had in that fucking video. That's the reality of all that he had in the video. And he can seethe about personal issues this and personal issues that, that he had with me from back in the day. But I honestly just wanted to move on.
He honestly just wanted to move on. Look at this guy's disingenuous face. This guy just wanted to move on after, in his response to the initial 2 videos that were created, him and Warski dox me. They put out a video doxing me. And then when called out by Jim, they go, I was drunk. I was really drunk with Andy Warski. That's why I did it. But this guy just wanted to bury the hatchet. This guy just wanted to go separate ways. Unbelievable.
And, you know, if he supposedly has the real-life job that he has that's in danger, da-da-da-da, then why is he wasting his time trying to come back to settle scores with me? That's what I don't fucking get, and I'll never fucking get. But that's on him, folks. That's on him. I'm going to leave it there, because that's it.
Spoiler alert, he doesn't leave it there.
That's all that he presented in his, 36-minute long video. And then it's like some nostalgia trip about Helsing and War Corps. Give me a break,
Antediluvian kings who you used to respect and look up to. And base your content around. A reputation and legacy that even you wanted at one point.
If you're such an entertainer, if you're so much better than me, if you can do so much better than the Keno Casino, why don't you?
Ethan Ralph used to say this consistently. Nick Fuentes says this. How are these people any different to the people they're criticizing? Can anyone give me one reason? Can anyone give me one explanation? One justification for why it's better and okay to tie your wagon to Andy Warski and PPP as the arbiters of what's right? If you're really an America firster and you've fallen a bit disillusioned with Nick Fuentes, right? You signed up with goodness in your heart. You genuinely wanted a political dogma, an ideology, a group to be a part of, to belong to. And you've fallen a bit out of love with the whole thing. Is it really the best alternative to jump onto these two guys and say, oh, you're going to lead me to my victory? PPP and Andy Warski. The America First de-radicalization program. Is that really what these people are doing? Because I'll be honest. If the alternative, if the opposition was these two faggots, I'd stay where I was. I'd stay where I was. This is the alternative. This is the opposition.
It's because you're washed up, brother. Like you told me many a time, you lost your mojo. You didn't know what to fucking do. Squire says I betrayed Keno Dogma in 2007. Squire, buddy. Sorry to tell you that pro wrestling, it's not real. Squire,
it's a bit rich coming from you, bro.
I know it's hard.
That's a bit rich coming from you.
You'll get through it, my son. You'll get through it, son. But it's okay. It's okay, Squire.
I'll never be cold again.
He's washed. He doesn't have it in him anymore. And back in July, I said, Godwinson, make some documentaries. We'll do a show together. We'll do a show separate from Keno Casino. He wasn't interested in that.
No, I wasn't interested in that. Because I wanted to see where the real divisions lay. Because I knew deep down that you were Warski's bitch. I knew that deep down. And I knew that you attempting to do the palace coup that you organised was going to backfire, and Warski wouldn't be gone, because it was Warski's show. And you trying to get us to do a show on a separate channel that was away from Warski, that had no appeal to me, because I didn't want Warski in the equation. And the reality is that you were telling me to hold back content so you and Warski could cover it on Keno Casino. I wasn't going to compile content for Andy Warski to illiterately read aloud. I wasn't going to be one of the writers that helped set up your show without any recognition. The deal was the show as it is. Fire the dumb retard. Let's put some effort into the content. That was the deal. He'll pretend he's got power. He has none. Zero.
He refused to do a separate show to Keno Casino.
Correct.
He had to have Andy's job. It was some vendetta against Andy. And you know what?
Some vendetta against Andy. Holy fuck. This is the guy who organised the palace coup. This is the guy who consistently, every fucking night, would talk about how he wants Andy to be fired. How he wants Andy to die. How he can't stand working with Andy Warski anymore because he's too retarded, and he keeps having to do calls with him where he's talking him off the ledge, where he's trying to stop him from doing more coke from his parents' picture frames. I wouldn't have come along and participated in your little coup if I didn't genuinely care, as a friend, to attempt to get you out of a situation that you so hated. That's what you used to say to us every night. But don't just take my word for it, because there's a fucking host, a team of writers that were also there, listening to it, sweeping it up, talking you off the ledge. Little did we all know that the reality of the situation was that you weren't in control, that you were going to be the crying towel for Warski until one of you commits suicide or eats yourself to death or overdoses. You ain't a powerful man in this scenario. You ain't an equal. And that's what I told you back in the day. If we were going to do a show, it would always be two ways. 50-50 equal. You wouldn't be treated any differently. The workload wouldn't be uneven. It would be 50-50 both ways. I wouldn't have left you in a situation where you're ill. You're genuinely ill. You can't physically get on a webcam. You can't perform. I wouldn't have left you in a situation that Andy Warski's left you in many times, where he's just going, oh, there'll be no show then, B-Jams. Okay, I'll go to gym. I'll go deliver the Uber Eats. I wouldn't have left you in that situation because you know the one mantra that used to guide us for 4 years was that the show must go on. The show must go on.
You can hate Andy, you can say a bunch of shit
I
about
do
Andy,
hate Andy. We all hate
Andy.
Andy.
Warski, along with everybody else in the world, has a right to eat and make money.
No, he doesn't.
Godwinson seems to think that he's above everybody and has a right to decide who can make money and who can't or whatever. It's just delusional. And he wanted Andy's job so fucking bad. I said, listen, let's do our own different show. Maybe it'll catch on. Maybe it'll be bigger. Hey, why don't you put up some edited videos?
By the way, I just want to say that the Let's Do Our Own Different show was when he pussied out. Was when he completely pussied out. And that was when I knew I had to make a few videos. Because the whole deal, the whole time, was him wanting to palace coup Andy to fire him, to get rid of him. Andy came back with a counter-offer and said he was going to get Jesse from Pod Awful to replace PPP. PPP got shook, suggested the second show. I said, that's retarded. And I said, you know the consequences of this. He didn't think I'd go ahead and do it. He called me washed even then. We'll see who's washed. We'll see who's washed.
Pay you for them. Hey, where's the Vosh documentary at? After the flamenco...
The Vosh documentary that he wouldn't publish, by the way, because he was afraid of Vosh and he didn't want to attack Breaktube because him and Warski don't want to punch left.
And got your anus fucking reamed by flamenco, bud, which you'll never live down. I'll never live it down either. It's embarrassing. But I'm still out here every day living with the shame of getting raped by Fagvenko. You, on the other hand, are off hiding somewhere, pretending you're like a big deal, that you're Jim, this, that, and the other. And then it's...
This guy, by the way, has been hiding for the past month and has only just recently decided to carry on his weekly show called The Kino Casino and The Rakeback. These guys took a month off after their bleeding from the anus that was Warski being knocked out by Salt Pappy. And the cope they came back with was, you can thank me. You can thank me for giving this to you. This guy didn't do shit. He was on the sidelines, literally on the sidelines. He might as well have been in a luchador mask as Warski was being pummeled. The only thing that made him stand out was his size. Was the fact that he was picked up by every camera looking completely devastated. That the person he tied his wagon to was, yes indeed, a complete retard. The face of a winner, guys. You're all jealous, by the way, of him and his position and his status as Warski's V.
Same, like, bitter fucking resentment of Jim. Jim's the cigarette smoking man. Jim swept it up. Why don't you cry about it some more? Why don't you cry some more, bitch nigga? Cry some fucking more.
So that's the first. That's the first of the streams that he did. Hang on, let me put myself back to normal. So that was the first of the streams that he presented, called the Kino Cathedral, on his social justice PPP channel. And yeah, it's what the man is now. Any legitimate criticism that he can't answer because he knows it's real, he goes, it is what it is. Jim came in, CPR'd enough breaths into them so that they would go ahead with the fight. They would carry on and they wouldn't shut it all down. That was Jim's contribution. PPP is the man who... He used to make content laughing about Jim's cancer. He himself has expressed many times his personal opinion on Jim. He fucking hates him. The reality is that he fucking hates Jim. And he's only playing ball with Jim now because somehow, for some reason, Jim keeps trying to save them from their inevitable fiery fate. Now, my explanation for why that is that Jim doesn't want to be the one doing a weekly show on Ethan Ralph and Nick Fuentes, his two main enemies at this point. So it's easier to have the two retards of PPP and Andy Warski do it than get your hands dirty. So those two are useful idiots. In the meantime, Jim's trying to probably look for another show, another pair of dweebs that are going to do a better job. Because let's be honest, it's not hard to do a better job than the Kino Casino's been doing for the past 9 months now. That's the reality. The more he defends Warski, by the way, the more sweet it's going to be when they split, which we know is going to happen. When Warski and PPP go their separate ways, because PPP at this point has betrayed every friend that he's ever had, and so has Warski. Two snakes ain't going to stay together. So the two snakes are going to go their separate ways. And I want all of you to remember moments like this, when he's talking about how much of a courageous man Andy Warski is. When he's talking about how much of a reliable man Andy Warski is. When he's talking about how much of a saint, how much of a king Andy Warski is. I want you to remember that. Because it's going to be so fucking sweet when the inevitable breakup happens. And you know when that breakup happens, Ashton? It's going to be a long walk back, my friend. It's going to be a hell of a long walk back. It's going to be a real long walk back. And you better believe it. You better believe it, my friend. A very, very long walk back. All right, let's do the second stream. All right, let's go. So bear in mind that he just said that was all he was going to do addressing the Godwinson video because there was nothing to it. There was nothing there. Look at the time stamp. An hour and 46 minutes he goes on now, talking about how there was nothing in the video, nothing to see here.
Okay, you're back. You're back. You're back.
We are back.
Good. I said to him, why don't you guys put together a documentary about flamenco, proving he's a pedophile, vindicate the whole thing. I'll put it up on my channel, or you guys can put it up on a new Godwinson channel.
Well, here again, this is how snaky it got just prior to the videos that I put out back in July. We did that Flagmenco stream. I genuinely thought it was fine because we were going to do the second show laying out the evidence. That was the reality of the situation. We were going to hype the audience up so much that we'd split them. And then we'd present the evidence that was all there packaged in the mega. This guy refused to do the second show. You know the reason why he refused to do it? Because it wasn't going to make him money. It wasn't going to make him any money doing that second show. So he said, why don't you do the video, Godwinson? And then if it goes well, we'll play it on the casino and I'll make some money. Gee, what an offer. What a great... What a great proposition that is, Ashton. The reality is that everyone knew that Fagmenko was a pedophile. Everybody knew. This guy, trying to save face, trying to play ball, buckled. Because what happened after that show was Worski went into a call with Fagmenko and they said, right, okay, this is how it's going down. Worski apologized to Fagmenko. Fagmenko came back with a demand and said, I get first dibs on all Ethan Ralph content. You get my scraps, you get the seconds. But I get the first dibs. I get the right to cover it first, and you have to know your place, Andy Worski. Worski said, yes, that's fine. He went back to Ashton, and instead of Ashton defending his corner, saying, wait, that's fucked, that guy's a pedophile, he said, okay, master. Okay, sir. Okay, massa. That's how it's going down. You know how we know about this? Because he told us about it for 4 hours in a call. Straight after the show. Me and the writers. That was the reality of the situation.
And they wouldn't fucking do it. Because Godwinson is a lazy bitch. And he expects me to entrust my entire financial security and my life to that fucking laziness.
Well, I certainly didn't expect you to trust your entire life, your financial livelihood, and any financial security that you may have in the trustworthy hands of Andy Worski. No, sir, I did not expect that one bit. And I think you realise the stupidity of the words you say because your face betrays them. Your face betrays what you're actually thinking and the state you're in. This is leaving Las Vegas tier.
It's just a delusion that I'm going to do that. You can't even bother to clean up the Fagmenko mess.
No, I'm not going to clean up yours and Andy Worski's mess. The reality is that the Kino Casino wasn't my show when I was a guest on it. I was there as a guest. It was your show and Worski's show. It wasn't for me to do your show for you. That was what the whole Palace coup was about. That was what the whole Palace coup was about, that you organised. I mean, the revisionist history is amazing. And it's better because there are people that were there that can corroborate everything I'm saying. And no one can back this guy up one iota.
Do you know why we weren't fucking briefed properly? Because the whole time was you guys trying to Palace coup Andy.
Just us guys.
Well, it's Godwinson, really.
This is the instigator.
Trying to Palace coup Andy so that we weren't fucking prepared for the show. He had no idea what the fuck was going on. It's on me, it's on him.
Worski had no idea what was going on because you weren't allowed to talk to Worski until half an hour before the show because he kept telling you he was in the gym. Because he kept saying that he was in the gym, that he was going to be at his computer in a minute. And you kept begging him and saying, look, we have this mega. Look, we need to prep this show. We've got this guest on. We need to prep the show. And Worski kept giving you the cold shoulder. I mean, they're the truth. That's the facts.
It's our fucking fault. But he wouldn't even bother to fucking clean up the mess. And instead comes at me out of pride because he couldn't admit that he fucking took an L. Because again, his pride trumps everything. His ego trumps everything.
He's describing
I'm
himself.
Egotistical.
You are.
I'm prideful.
You are.
I can't take an L.
That's true.
I started off with the biggest L you could possibly have.
Okay, so he's going to talk about the biggest L he could possibly have was displaying his anus to all and sundry. That was a pretty big fucking L. That was genuinely the lowest low that I'd ever seen anyone on the internet at that point. But you know who saved him from that L? Do you know who handed him a W after he did that? It was me. I picked this guy up out of the gutter purely because he was entertaining enough and he had enough of a good point that it didn't matter that he displayed his anus. It didn't matter because he had a point. And when people at the time, like Ralph, were kicking him while he was down, I genuinely did think, well, look, let's make some good content together. Let's do a few shows. And what spiraled into it was a 4-year partnership, a creative partnership where we genuinely did have a better time than what's going on now. It was genuinely a golden age. And this guy's fans remember that. And this guy's fans genuinely do want to go back to this. The fans that currently watch the Kino Casino aren't there for PPP. They're there for Warski. They're there because Andy Warski is a known entity. PPP can be replaced at any point in time. And believe you me, Warski's been trying. Believe you me, the moment PPP doesn't lick Tang and suck balls, the moment he doesn't stop being the milk-fed gimp to Andy Warski, replaced, pod-awfuled, Kyled, God forbid, geek-thulu'd. And this guy will then attempt to pander to the audience that he betrayed and stabbed in the back. That's what he'll do. But I hope to God the audience can remember the actions of today, the behaviour of the past 12 months. I hope they can remember that, and I hope that they can then catch themselves and go, we ain't going to be tricked again. We ain't going to invest our time, our energy, our support into a faggot that's going to just completely sell them out the moment they find some no-name retard grifter to hang themselves off of. Because sure as shit, the moment this guy panders back to his original audience, the moment this guy attempts to save face, as soon as a passing grifter walks by, this guy's going to be giving the biggest, most desperate, most shameful blowjob to them in an attempt to do a show, in an attempt to get back on the grift wagon again. Don't forget these words. They're true, they're real, they're a prophecy of what's coming.
Which is showing your asshole. And I take shit for it all the time, and I'm still here. If Godwinson had that happen to him, you'd never see him again.
If Godwinson had that happen to him, so he's not even taking responsibility for his own actions. He is the one that displayed his anus for all and sundry to see. It didn't happen to him. He is directly responsible for this. The disassociation from your own actions, that's startling. That's crazy shit, bro. And you know what the big difference is? I wouldn't display my anus to all and sundry. This guy did. It didn't just happen to him in the same way you'd be struck by lightning. He actively took part in the splaying of his cheeks to display his starfish to all and sundry.
You would never see him again. Ever. Ever. And I'm not fucking like, listen, I'm happy to just let things fucking go.
Does this guy sound like he's happy to let things go?
Let things go with Godwinson.
2 streams?
Let the good times be the good times.
Yeah.
The bad times be the bad times, and we go our fucking separate ways. But
it's the threat there. He wants us to go separate ways because he doesn't want me to attack him, because I know it hurts him. I know he genuinely can't come back at any of the points I'm making. I'm not doing, and I don't think I have, in any of the videos I've made, and even in this stream, I have not gone chapter and verse on who Ashton Parks is, on everything that I've ever been told by this man, on this guy's personal life, on the situations that I've seen him in, and I have no interest in doing that. I said to him at the time, if ever I came at you, if ever the ways parted, and it was my turn to attack you, then I keep it strictly to the shop. And that's what I've done. I've kept it strictly to the shop. I've kept it strictly to the professional relationship that him and Andy Warski share. I've not talked about stuff that perhaps Surf has spoken about. Now, I'll be honest, there were quite a quite a few big offers that came my way, really big offers that came my way to sell my story, to tell everyone who Ashton Parks really is, to confirm stories, to deny stories that are already publicly in the ether. I had some big money being proposed, Ashton. Money that I wasn't even asking for, but I was flattered. To go on these guys' shows and besmirch you as a person. And you know what I said to them all? I said, no, I'm going to keep it strictly to the shop, strictly to the business side of things. And they all said, you know what, I respect that. That's a class act. Adam, we may not disagree, or we may not agree, but I respect that. This guy doesn't respect that. He will fire any personal detail that he has, any feeling that will have any ammo, in an attempt to scare criticisms away. He tried to do it with Surfer. He tried to present himself as the victim. I think people at this point can see that this ain't a victim. When he's disassociating himself from his own personal actions that he is only personally responsible for, people can see that this guy is fucking nuts. Crazy.
He refuses to allow that to happen because he's still seething in his heart. I don't want to make this video. I don't want to make any videos attacking him. Do you know what this guy said to me before he went and stabbed me in the fucking back with his bullshit videos in a moment where I was weak?
I will never be cold again. I was weak. Let's just keep going. We'll never finish.
The power chat thing, and he stabbed me right through the heart, through the back. He said to me in the weeks before that, do you know, PPP, you're my best friend. And you know, PPP, if there's one thing that came out of all this internet thing, if there's one thing for my internet legacy, it's our friendship.
That's true. That is genuinely true. And those, by the way, are almost exactly the way I said those words. And, you know, it's heartbreaking that they were burnt into his mind where he can so accurately and confidently represent them. And you can see in his face there that it clearly meant a lot to him, me saying that. And I mean it. I meant it, I should say. Those words were said, and then the actions that this guy, that PPP, followed through with afterwards were pretty shocking. He completely invalidated the friendship that me and him shared that was completely outside of the internet. That was completely outside of autistic discussions about Ethan Ralph and Nick Fuentes and Helsing 920 and War Corp 666 and Hollywood God and a litany of other things. The reality of our friendship, this is a moment where I'm going to talk slight outside of the shop. We'd talk hours about movies we'd seen, about our childhoods, about the way things are, politics, stuff like that. We genuinely didn't break that in terms of the friendship. What happened was, this guy's ego became so much that every conversation had to be about his show he was doing with Andy Warski. Every conversation had to be about, well, I need to make money from every social interaction I have. I need to make as many nickels and dimes as I can out of every social interaction I have. So I'm going to sacrifice this friendship with you in order that every conversation we have becomes an interview where you're telling me what the show is going to be, where you write the show for me. I said no to that because that's not a friendship. If this guy wanted me to be one of his writers, then he better recognize me as such. But that's not a way to keep a friendship going. And he knows what he's done. Look at his face. He knows what he's done. And you don't attempt to big dog your friend, saying they're insignificant and washed. and expect the friendship to be maintained. He knows what he's done.
And I genuinely fucking believe that snake bastard, that fucking cold-blooded reptile, as he fucking lied to me and told me that I was his friend and then proceeded to stab me right through the fucking back. That's what he did. That's what he did.
He was told the whole way along that a video was coming. He was told the whole way along that a video was coming.
It is what it is, folks. But there's two sides to a fucking story, and there's a lot more I could fucking say about Godwinson. There's a lot more I could say about Adam, the fucking Judas that he is. I don't know, Squire. Adam Edge's name has been out there for fucking years. For fucking years. Don't you put that on me. There's a whole paste bin of Godwinson's life that I could read off right now. There are stories I could tell you about Godwinson.
It's the Tony Soprano-esque Godfather tier threats.
So don't come at me with that.
The passive-aggressive threats.
I was drunk and I put a
that I hope we can all recognize.
On a video, Squire, because I wanted people to know that he took the blood money and that it wasn't kayfabe and that he was in on the grift.
Well, they were all told in the videos that I made.
His email address was on it. Fuck. I honestly didn't even fucking realize. So, it is what it is.
It is what it is, guys. It is what it is. It is what it is. Every time he fucks up, every time he can't justify his own actions, every time he attempts to justify his own actions with an absolute cope, he just goes, even I'm too shameless to carry on with this cope. So I'm just going to say it is what it is and try and sweep it away.
The God's honest fucking truth.
It's not the God's honest truth.
And it is what it is, folks.
It is what it is.
It is what it fucking is.
It is what it fucking is.
It's a non-issue. It's fucking
It's a non-issue. He's even sweeping it away with his hands there. Amazing.
And we're fucking moving on.
We're moving on. Nothing to say here. Nothing else to say about the motherfucker.
Nothing else to say to the motherfucker. Exactly, Arjun. Why would I trust him? He's a massive... Because we worked together for years. We were a great team. He's a great guy to talk to. He loves Star Trek. He loves fucking a lot of the same interests I have. That guy with the glasses, old internet culture. We bonded. We were friends. I had him at my house.
Surface
Me and
house.
Surfer and him, we hung out. We ate meals together. Went to the bar together. I genuinely believed in him and trusted him, but he is a...
Yeah, and I trusted this guy. The reality is he betrayed my trust by pursuing so doggedly the anus of Andy Warski and attempting to stick his head so high up into there that there was no friend left, no person left that I used to know. That's the reality of the situation. This isn't the PPP that was my friend. This isn't the PPP that I used to hang out with. This is something else. An abomination.
Fucking snake and a bastard. He's a snake and a bastard. And you can say I'm the motherfucker because I fucking did this or did that. But, you know, the universe is as it is.
It is. That is the universe.
I know that in some respects I was wrong.
In some respects.
Should I have posted that video with Andy? Probably not. But you know what?
In some respects,
we all fucking make mistakes in life.
It is what it is.
And it is what it is. I have to just fucking accept that that's what fucking took place. So, fuck Godwinson. Fuck him. It was a lazy video. It was a sad attempt. It wasn't very good. If he had come back and he had some smoking gun evidence of fraud or I did this or I did... It was nothing.
Is that the qualification that's needed to call you out as a shameless grifter? To say that you've lost your soul to Andy Warski? Is that the qualification that's needed? I need documents proving that you're a fraudster? Is that really what's needed now? To qualify any response? No, I don't think it is. I think we can call a spade and get a response out of you. Because I know that you're not happy in the situation you're in. And if you are happy, then you really have betrayed everybody that stood alongside you. Let's go.
It was your Toad McKinley.
No, you're worse.
But the reality of it is, you compare me and Toad's talents, there's no fucking comparison, Adam, and you fucking know that.
I think we can compare your talents now to Toad's then and see that Toad was actually more talented than this current version of yourself.
Toad McKinley couldn't fucking do an unscripted rant like this if his life depended on it.
Is this really a rant, Ashton?
Put to his head
is this really
blow his fucking
in the
brains
top
out,
10
he's incapable
of your rant videos?
So don't come out.
You started off reviewing a 15-year-old game.
Anyway, well, Squire, you were never paid. Persip was paid. Persip.
Well, that's a lie. I think he did pay Squire, and he paid Persip, and he paid Brian.
Value. You, on the other hand, nobody ever liked your videos.
This guy would beg Squire, by the way.
I'm sorry.
Would beg
nobody
him
ever liked them.
to make videos
They weren't very good.
that would sweep up stories that were coming out of Surfer's
on my
videos.
Channel anyway. You know
he didn't want to
it is.
address the Surfer tales,
I thought you nuked all your shit today,
so he
you
desperately
fucking
used to
loser.
beg Squire to
How
make
is
videos.
it, by the way, Daimyo,
in an
defending
attempt.
a Norwegian pedophile's honor with Gahul?
I don't even know what this is.
How is it being on fucking streams where that Norwegian pedophile who fucking caused a man
I'm going to
die
assume that's
by
Phantom
making him eat his
Organisation.
own shit?
And apparently Phantom
How is
Organisation
it
has
still
killed a
defending
man.
him? And Gahul's sitting there
Gahul?
and letting that piece of shit just denigrate his fucking sister and shit all over his fucking tranny sister.
Yeah, but we both did that, Ashton. Didn't we both shit on Gahul's tranny sister? I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
And then Gahul with no backbones, like, well, he's homeless or she's homeless. What a fucking little swine you are. What a fucking little weasel faggot you are, Gahul. You and fucking Daimyo to sit there and suck him off still. At least Surfer still has the good fucking sense. Surfer should have got out of there a long time before, but I'm glad Surfer's finally seen the fucking light.
Oh, has Surfer left the Council of Evil?
Norwegian pedophile shit.
This is news to me. Sorry, I'm behind the times on many things.
Sorry to say, but it's fucking sad, Daimyo. You fucking supposedly have a fiance you're getting married to shortly. Get the fuck out of here, man. Get out. But it's too late because you're desperate for my attention, for my validation. I've seen the logs of you faggots' fucking chats where it's all about me. And I've seen you faggots actually debate whether or not I'm a prophet of God.
Spoiler alert, you're not a prophet of God. You can talk about ego, but the reality is he thinks he's a prophet of God. And he puts those words into other people's mouths by saying, oh, they think I'm a prophet of God. Nobody on this green earth thinks that you're a prophet of God. Nobody is under that delusion. People have eyes. Even the blind can tell that you're not a prophet of God.
That's fucking insane. That's fucking delusional. Delusional. That fucking mongoloid actually thinks I'm a fucking prophet of God. And you guys sit there every fucking day in your fucking gay council Discord and cry about me as jilted fucking lovers, obsessed with me. Crazy. Move the fuck on. I'm a 400-pound fat man.
600
I
pounds.
could see it if I was a sexy 10 out of 10 woman that you were with. I broke your heart cheating on you with a black man.
I mean, I'll be honest, I don't really keep up with this Council of Evil nonsense, and half of the characters in there I don't really get on with or like or have anything in common with. But it's a bit rich coming from PPP to say that they obsess over someone. When PPP obsesses over Ethan Ralph and Nick Fuentes, every second of every day. Every second of every day.
But I'm a 400-pound fat fucking man. I'm very fallible. I'm a sinner. I'm not God. I'm not some fucking great
No
deity.
one thinks you are
I'm
God.
PPP.
Nobody thinks you are God. Insanity.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is there, folks. So that's the brief statement on the council. That's all they really deserve. But they'll fucking... Listen.
Who actually is in the
They will now
council?
obsess about those
It's
statements
Gahul,
for the next
Shaggy,
year to year and a half
Daimo,
before I give
Rudy,
them more attention.
Surfer.
You hate to see it, folks. You hate to fucking see it. You hate to
Leo?
fucking
Is
see
Leo
it.
Pirate in there?
Well, Arjun, that's the thing, brother, and that's why, listen, I'm not the leader of a movement.
No one's saying you are.
It's not right for me to use the irony or to, be as light as I am on my show. But listen, man, I'm not trying to lead anything. I'm not your political leader. I'm not your religious leader. I'm not your messiah, okay? Maybe one day I'll do some Bible teachings again. Maybe when I feel more right about myself, that I'm more righteous than I am today. But that's just the truth about it.
It is what it is.
Oh, Trelane. Listen, brother, welcome to Ban World, Trelane.
He's banning?
Trelane.
He's banning the Squire.
You've been swept. You've been swept. You've been swept. This is the evil PPP arc.
No, it's the true PPP arc, because that's your true feelings, because you can't take any criticism anymore. Even from people who were incredibly close to you, like the Squire, who wrote your shows, who made enough money for you that you could buy this fucking towel, that you could eat yourself into this, that you could look like this, that you could grift alongside Andy Warski, credibly, for a bit, before it all turned to shit. That you're going to ban someone who's been watching you, like the Squire, since you started? It says it all.